Okay, so hi, we're going to continue with, this is now video number 3 on making the map. And this is going to be a long project because right now we're just doing the structures. But we're going to get into, we got to get into the roads and all that other stuff. But I was looking at my illustrations, especially my shaky drawings on the teacup. And although we drew some of the detail with skinny lines, I just didn't like the way it felt. It didn't feel like a solid, cohesive drawing, meaning everything worked together. So I'm just kind of doing dots and dashes in some of the detail work. I'm still not sure I like it all that much because I was so upset when I was drawing it. It just, I don't know, I've got a lot of boo-boos in here. So I'm considering just redrawing the whole thing, but we'll see what we do. I may not. I know I took the hat and I darkened up a couple of lines inside just so it popped a little bit more because it just didn't feel finished. That's something to think about. I know when I'm painting, I oftentimes think I'm finished, and then I step back and go, well, no, not really. I'll be working away. I was just working away on a portrait and not thinking, oh, this is finished, but thinking how good it is. And then I stepped back and I saw imbalances and incorrect lights and darks and colors. I don't do skin tone. Like when I'm painting white people, I don't worry about having the right pinks, or the right greens underneath for the veins. I don't worry about it. I don't even care. People are done in teals and blues for the most part, but that because I want to take race out of the conversation. I don't want the right skin color to be the whole, the definition of the whole painting, which it sometimes can be. And so, I stepped back and I looked at my painting of Yolande Fissure, and it was imbalanced in certain places, and the rouge on Yolande's face is not right, even though it's not in a realistic color. It's still not feeling right. The eyebrows that Yolande had painted on, things like that. So it happens in my paintings, it happens in my drawings, and I don't worry about it. I just continue going on, or I try and fix it. That's all. I try and find a way to fix it. And if I can't really fix it and I'm not happy, I'll just start again. It's not a big deal. It's really not. So let's go ahead and finish up Dixie's house, which is definitely the most complicated structure in the entire project. And we're going to draw some leaves. And again, it's a line, 2 curvy lines. A line, 2 curvy lines. We're just going to put leaves here and there. Doesn't matter where. Put them where you want them. Lines, curvy line. Line, curvy lines. And see again, I'm turning it upside down. Oops. Turning the illustration upside down. So I'm finding more balance. And I'm not seeing everything from one direction. This is how I paint too. Upside down, sideways, on the floor, hanging up high, sitting down low. So I can see everything from different perspectives. Whoops. Line, curvy lines. Do we need more? I think I need one more, right there. Line, curvy line. Let's see. How does that feel? Well, I think I need one sticking out right there. Remember we drew that circle? Well, we're going to draw the bushes like we did in Joel's house, around Joel's house, because the top level of his house is sitting on top of this part of this tree. So we're going to do the same thing here. And just like we do in on all of our bushes, just like squiggly lines. Squiggly, squiggly, squigglies. And I'm not as shaky and as upset tonight as I was, because Bugsy was eating today. And he actually wanted a doggy treat. He wanted a milk bone. He went to the pantry and stood by the pantry door, which means, I want a milk bone. So I gave him a milk bone, and he chewed it all up, which he couldn't do a few days ago. So now we're going to split that tree into sections, and they don't have to be in any particular spot. There doesn't have to be any rhyme or reason. We just go where our heart, ooh, itchy ear, our heart and our ear, pen tells us. Okay? And then we just do our lines. Ready? See, I split that up into little sections. See? I've got my leaves, I've got all my squiggly lines on the outside in heavy pen, and then I split it into sections with my skinny pen. Now we're going to do our lines, just like we always do. Okay? In all different directions. And once we get done with Dixie's house, we're going to try Bugsy's house, which, believe me, will be a lot easier, I think. And then we'll take a break from building a map of the town, because this has been a pretty involved project, and we'll do something else, and then we'll come back to it. Lines. More lines. Sorry. More lines. And you see how some of my lines cross over? They can cross over the leaves, they can cross over the fat lines, the skinny lines. Doesn't matter. Makes it more interesting. That's what we're going for. Makes it really fun and interesting, having those lines going everywhere. See the different patterns? That's what we're making. We're building patterns and chaos. We love a little bit of chaos. Okay. Draw more squiggly lines, and squiggly lines around the tree, in the tree. See what I'm doing? Just squiggly squigglies. Squiggly squigglies. Because it's nature, and nature is chaotic. As chaotic as people's feelings. So there we go. Excuse me. Let's give, let's darken Dixie's windows just a little bit, like they have reflection with some lines, okay? And sometimes I put sometimes I put lines along the front of Dixie's house for wood, but we're not going to do it because this is, they're going to be too tiny. It's going to get convoluted, and we've been at this for a long time, and I'm getting a little bored of it. So let's just start cutting it out, because we want to keep it simple, too. We want to make this fun. We don't want it to be a big, heavy-duty project. It's already taken enough time. So we'll cut this one out, we'll cut Joel's house out. Do we have anybody else we have to cut out? And that'll be part 3 of this particular project. We might make a couple more things for it, if we have enough time in this video. Sounds like it might be thundering again tonight. I'm not sure. Or it could just be my air conditioner running. But we had bad thunder today for a while. It's been so hot lately. Remember, this is where Scooter's monument would stand. Scooter with his arm up in the air, taking a step. In the town where everybody decided it would be named after him. In my mind, Scooter was the mayor of this town. He was such a good mayor. And people respected him so much, or characters respected him, his value system, and his kindness and generosity and decency so much that they voted to name it Scootertown. Because in my mind, in my story, Scooter helped people. A lot of times he helped people who didn't think they could help themselves, or people that felt powerless. He helped them to find their best, and helped others to find their best too. Even people who weren't powerless or felt powerless. He showed people their strengths and their weaknesses. But he was so well regarded that everyone in town decided it would be named Scootertown. And that's how we got it. Also because that's the name of my teddy bear, who's sitting right here. There's this little leg. But that's my story anyway. Did kind things without bragging or boasting. He treated people with dignity and respect. And so all the townspeople decided, we're going to name our place Scootertown. Okay, so now we've got Joel's house, Dixie's house, Max's house that he started off in. We've got Jack's house where he was born. I think maybe we should darken that up a little bit, that top hat. We've got Jack's current house, which is a rabbit run, where one of these bushes has a way in and the other one has a way out. But I think, let's grab the top hat for a sec. Let's give the top hat some lines. We're going to darken it up just a tad, because it shouldn't really be white. Okay, so there we go with the brim. And then for the upper half, let's do what we did on Dixie's house and mimic the outer lines mimic the outer lines, draw parallel lines, just like them. Instead of like in our bushes where it's wicked chaotic. Do this. Let's see how this looks. May look good, may not. It's okay. We're experimenting. We can always draw this again. It does need to be darker. Feels a little bit better. Ooh, that feels a lot better. Huh. Giving it some shading, we're giving it some depth. I want you to look at my lines though, they're dots and dashes. They're not all even. There's room for boo-boos. I think I want to darken up this brim a little bit. And then the outside of that ribbon. And then the outside, the top part of the top hat. Because I think I drew this too light. So I'm just very quickly going to darken it up. Notice I'm not really looking, I'm just drawing. There, that feels more solid. Look at how much more character that has now. Freeze it if you need to look, but I'm going to move on to Bugsy's house. And that's Bugsy's house right there. I think in my map too I had a community garden over here. But let's get into Bugsy's house, okay? As you can see, it's a boat. Boats are a big theme in the story. Or maybe not a big theme, but they're used over and over again. So let's figure out how tall we want this boat. I started jumping ahead, but let's figure out how big we want this, because everybody else's house is kind of smallish. You don't want to go big, big, big. You want to keep everything in proportion. Yeah, come here, paper. Let's look at Dixie's. Yeah, let's keep it all in proportion. So, let me erase these lines. I just jumped ahead with that. So we kind of want it about the same size. We're not measuring, we're just doing it by eye and by feel. And to me, this seems about right. Those two lines seem about right. And we're not going to look at Bugsy from the top, Bugsy's house from the top. We're going to be kind of looking at it at a different angle. More from the side, almost from the underneath, like Bugsy would be looking at it. So we've got these two lines. Let's draw the bow, which would be curved because it's going to cut through water. But that's not actually the bow. That's the side. This is going to be the bow. This is the front of the boat. Like that. So we've got the side from the angle we're looking at, and then the bow, the actual front of the boat. These lines, don't forget, are just for size. That's not how the boat is going to be shaped. We're not going to hang on to that line. We're going to actually bring this line down. Okay? We're going to erase this line that we made originally and bring a line down. That's for perspective. Okay? Okay, so then, here we go. Let's see if we can get this down any further. Nope. Here we go. We're going to take that, we're going to make our next line coming down like this. Actually, I think that one's too high, the one we just made. So we're going to lower that just a little bit too. Okay, so instead of the straight line, we've got a nice curved line coming down. The boat's not going to be quite this long. He's a little doggy. He doesn't need that much space. So we're going to cut it off there. You cut it off wherever you want, but I'm going to cut it off there. So look at the angle. This one has a bit of a curve, but the back of the boat is usually pretty flat. Okay. Now we're going to draw a little house on top, very, very similar to Dixie's. Very, very, very similar. So we're going to make two lines just about here, and they're going to run parallel to the paper. Okay? Parallel to the paper. We're going to make a third line over here. Let's get rid of this straight line right there that we don't need anymore. Okay, so now we've got 1, 2, 3 lines. That's the side of the house, that's the corner, the other corner of the house, or the other side of the house, and there's the back of the house. And we'll draw a line right down the middle here, because just like in Bugsy's house, Dixie's house, where we split the front of the house right down the middle to find out where the roof is, we're going to do that here. And I think I'm going to make it that high. There we go. Same as Dixie's house. I went up here, and I just kind of decided, all right, that's going to be the top of the roof. There's the pitch. There we go. I drew 2 lines coming down, so we get a nice rectangle. I'm going to get rid of some of that center line. Then we're going to take the roof of the house, very tippy top, bring it back like that. Kind of like the shape of the boat, the direction at least of the boat. You see? The boat's curved, but we're not going to curve this one. And then we're going to make the back of the roof, which is going to be the same line. There's the front line. There's the front of the roof. So we're going to have the back of the roof at the exact same angle. Okay? And I did mention I wanted to be an architect once or twice, didn't I? So I did take drafting classes. And that's where I learned how to do some of this. Okay. Notice how the roof is moving in the same direction as the boat, but not quite, because the boat was curved, this is straight. But there's the bottom of the roof. Right there. A little bit of an overhang to protect the house from rain. Now I want to draw a window. And I happen to like arched windows. So I've got 2 lines here. And then in the center, just over the top, we're just going to draw a curve. So 2 lines down, and then the curve. And look what we did. Not too shabby. Now let's not forget, we've got to do the detailing on the roof, just like we did on Dixie's. We're going to draw that metal piece that protects the roof, the top of the roof. Draw that metal piece, and then we're going to do shingles. Or the tar coming down. So I put in 1 line for the metal piece right here, and then 2 more lines for the tar shingles we're going to put on. Okay, let's grab our, before we do that, before we draw with the big fat pen, right in the middle of the bow, this big piece of wood for the bow, we're going to draw a line down. And that's because that's where the piece of wood would be cutting through the water like this. So we're going to indicate that sharp point in the wood with a third line. We got the 2, 1, 2. We've got the 1, 2 outer lines, and then we're going to make a third line right down the middle. Okay? Ready? Let's go. Let's do the, before we go any further, make a second line under the whatever this is. Like we were drawing the curve in the boat, make a second line for that, the curve in the boat, because that's another piece of wood, and then over here as well. Okay? Second line underneath, second line underneath. So that's all wood. Okay, now let's get to work. I'm going to draw the house for no particular reason other than I'm going to draw the house. There's the one side, or one corner, second corner, and then the back. I'm going to draw the top of the roof. Dots and dashes. I'm not going to worry about a perfectly straight line because I don't feel like it. Dots and dashes. Okay, now we're going to do the lines for the tar. Lines for the tar. Bottom of the roof. Okay. I'm going to draw the outside. And this will be a little lumpy bumpy because of the tar. I'm going to draw the inside, lumpy bumpy. And I'm going to follow, I'm going to make a straight line here, which we didn't talk about a second ago, because all that is sitting on wood. All that tar, the tar shingles are sitting on wood. So we're going to indicate that wood with the second line. We're going to have to do that on the other side too. Sorry I didn't mention it before, but I do that. So why don't we do this? We'll draw that line, and then we'll do lumpy bumpies just outside of that. Oops. And lumpy bumpies is not a architectural term. It's our term. Doody-doo, doody-doo. Okay, ready. Let's do the window. 2 lines down. Curved line. There we are. 2 lines down, curved line. Look at my lines. I want you to look very carefully. None of them are perfectly straight. There's a lot of dots and dashes, and it all works. Okie dokie. Let's get that piece of wood right in the center of the bow, right here. Dots and dashes up to a point. And because the piece of wood is like this, we're going to have angles coming down. You should see that clearly. There's the very center, corner piece, line coming down, line coming down. Okay. All right, my friend, let's do the other side of the piece of wood, our original lines. Do your best. Dots and dashes work, just like that. Okay, ready? Ugh. Let's do, I can't remember which side of the boat this is. After 4, I don't know. Let's do that side. Let's do that side. Let's do the piece of wood under it. The piece of wood under that. Yes? Yes. I'm going to finish that piece of wood off like that. It's kind of a curved line on the outside. Now Bugsy has shingles. He also has a door. I don't know why, because he doesn't have hands to open that door. But I gave him a door and a door handle. So we're going to draw a door, the same as the window up here. 2 lines coming down, curve up top, because we love the curvy bits. Okay. And I have no idea why, but I always draw the door handle over here. Just like that. And there's going to be shingles coming down, siding, that's what it's called. We can draw right through the door because it's pencil. We just have to remember to erase it when we're done. And then lines that correspond with these on the other side. Okay, just like that. Let's erase the ones in the door so we don't forget. I also want to put lines around the door for wood framing, what the door would sit in. The framing the door would sit in. Just like that. So we drew the inside of the door, and then we drew the outside of the door, the wood framing. Okay, let's grab our big fat pen and do the siding, or the do the siding. Remember, don't draw through the door. I've done that before. The world won't end. There we go. There's the wood planks or siding. And when we draw the back of the boat, we're going to acknowledge each individual piece of wood. What I like to do is just come out a little bit, like that, so it acknowledges each piece of wood that's been put in. And do the same thing on this side. Coming all the way down. Now, that's going to be grassy down there, so boink, boink, giving it lines. Okay. See? Just a couple of lines here or there. Because that's going to be grass. Let's get that doorknob. Bugsy can't use, but I keep giving him. Let's do the frame of the door. Okay. Then the archway of the door. Oof, God, that's tough. Ooh, I should have done dots and dashes. Yeah, it's okay. There we go. We could do siding on Bugsy's, on the upstairs, but I don't think we should worry about it. What we should do is add the extra lines to indicate the framing of the house. Okay, the wood that's framing the house. So you could just barely make it out, but I put in an extra line on the outside because I had this far in anyway. So I put an extra line on the outside, just between the bow and the first line I drew. Then I drew this line down here, this line down here, and this line, whoops, right over here. So we've got the framing. And sometimes I put a frame on the inside and the outside of the window, but I think today I'm just going to skip it. I think, whoops. I think today we're just going to take our skinny pen and do what we did in Dixie's windows and just add reflection. Just like that. Boink, boink, boink. So it looks a little like glass. And we're not going to worry about shingling the outside of the house. What we are going to do is do our tar roofs. Remember, tar roofs are just circles. They're little bubbles. Because in tar roofs, when I was growing up, which my house was covered with, that's my dryer. That's my clothes. I've been washing clothes all day. The house my great uncle built, and he was a sea captain. It had a tar roof, and there were pieces of little pieces. There were pebbles and things in the tar. So that's why we're drawing circles. Tar is black. It's kind of gritty. But we're drawing the texture. Okay, you keep doing circles. We're almost done. I gulp my tea. When we get done with this, I have to iron. I got to iron my shirts. I have to iron my bandanas and my face masks. I like everything crisp and clean. Alright. So there's the tar roof. As you can see in this one, I actually drew really big bubbles, and I kind of like that better. But I didn't this time. I just forgot, and it's okay. I'm going to add some shading under this part of the roof by just doing lines. I think I want to bring this out a little bit more. Yeah, I think I want to do the same thing here. I'm just drawing not super squiggly, but little squiggly lines. Same thing here. Little squigglies. Same thing here. Okay. And we got to draw the ground by Bugsy's front door, and it's going to be dots, dashes, and lines for grass. You see? So that's done. Let's cut them out. Remember to leave space around the house that we're cutting out. Leave paper, white space around it. Gives it more character. Oops. Erase a little bit because I got quite a mess here. There we go. We got Bugsy's house. So let's review what we have. Take this away. Besides a big mess. So let's review what we have. Okay. We've got Jack Harrington's house when he grew up, where he grew up or started off. We've got Max's house where he started off. They're neighbors. Okay. Let me see. Pull this in a little closer maybe. this stuff out of the way. Excuse me. See if we can pull this in a little bit closer. Okay. I got stuff everywhere. Okay, so we've started this map. We've got the island, the traffic island where the monument to Scooter would be. We've got Joel's current house, and I was thinking about moving him over here, but I think I'm going to stick with the original plan. This is where he started off. This is where he lives now. So he's kind of still close to his family, even though they don't really come into the story any further. And he doesn't really interact with them. He's still right there. We're going to take Joel and put him here. Yep. All right, excuse the noise. There. Just pushing everything backwards. Dixie. Yeah, you can't see Dixie at all. Oh, boy, Beck. Come on. So Dixie would go here. Dixie's house would go here. Let me pull the easel and the camera back. Yes? Okay. Very noisy, but there we go. Doo-ba-doo, doo-ba-doo. Can you see now? I'm doing my best. Doing my best, as Bugsy would say. Okay. And then Bugsy's house goes kind of over here. So they're like in a little cul-de-sac almost. Over here goes a community garden where they all work together. Then we've got bushes and things that are going to go in. But I've also got, I really do have an entire town that we'll be working on at another time. So, but this is a start for our a map. One of the maps that we're going to make. I tell you what, why don't we make a couple of bushes since we've gotten this far and we have a couple more minutes to go. Let's make some more little bushes. Okay, let's put that all aside, and they're going to be quick and easy. Remember, it's just a circle. Just here, I'm going to put this back. There we go. So it's just basically a circle with a circle in the center. It's like a donut. Circle with a circle in the center. Donut. And they don't have to be that big. They can be smaller. It's up to you. So let's just make 3 of them, okay? You can make more, but we're running out of time. Let's start off with our leaves, which again is a line. Curvy line, curvy line. Line, curvy line, curvy line. Line, curvy line, curvy line. Line, curvy line, curvy line. They don't have to be this big. They can be smaller. They can be bigger. It's all up to you. Line, curvy line, curvy line. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Curvy line, curvy line. Line, curvy line, curvy line. Line, curvy line, curvy line. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm doing this out of camera shot. I didn't realize that. Line, curvy line, curvy line. Okay, last one. Line, curvy line, curvy line. Line, curvy line, curvy line. Line, curvy line. You can just do the leaves wherever you want to. Doesn't matter. Inside the circle, outside the circle is good too. because it's all going to work out just fine. Yep. So this is what I have. Kind of nonsensical, kind of crazy. Yeah. There, I just made a bunch of bushes, or maybe they're trees, but we'll use them later. Okay, now we're going to do squigglies in that circle that we originally drew, but we don't have to follow that circle. We can do what we want. There's no rules. This is your drawing. You see what I did? I drew squiggly lines over the squiggly lines, and that's okay. Look at, there's the outside of the circle, and I went squiggly line in, because trees do that, trees and bushes. They're not always even. Not in nature. I do like to add kind of a center. Like, that's where the trunk of the tree is. So I do like to add a little bit of a center. When before I turned the camera on, at least I think it was before I turned the camera on, I went back to my little bushes and added a center where the trunk of the bush would be. All right, let's grab our skinny pen. And draw some sections. We're just going to squiggly line some sections in. Squiggly squigglies. Oh, and we're going to draw them on the outside of the bushes too. Squiggly squigglies. All kinds of crazy. Just making sections that we're going to put lines in. Okay, I finished up my squigglies. Oh, except for the outside of that one. Okay, now we're going to do our lines. Okay. Remember, we're doing our lines, adding texture, motion, pattern, and idea. And other stuff. See? Just like that. They don't go in the same direction, they go in all directions. They can curve. They can cross over. It's all okay. It's all good. It's all good. Don't forget to get the center too, the trunk. This is kind of like our flowers that we draw sometimes. I've only got one more left. Now I'm getting hungry. It's too late to eat dinner, but I'm hungry. No chicken sandwich. Maybe I'll just have an orange. Sounds like a better idea. Macintosh. Okay, bushes are done. That took us no time, and we're almost out of time. So let's flip them out quickly. cutting around all those lines. Not too close. Not too carefully. Yeah, my tummy's making noises. I think I'll have an orange. That sounds nice. Okay, I got one bush. Oops, why did that look funny? Cut that off. There. Got one bush. Here's Bugsy's house. Let's put out what we finished. We finished Dixie's house tonight. We did Bugsy's house. Now we're doing bushes. Let's review. How much time? Okay, we got about 3 minutes. Da 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 da. Almost done. Holy crap. I didn't mean that. Holy cow. Holy moly. Okay. Dunsies, all I have to do is erase some of the lines in there, and this is what we've completed tonight. We finished Dixie's house, we made Bugsy's house. We may add more detail to it later, but for right now, nope. And then we made some bushes. Look at us, look at what we did. This is awesome, good job. All right, in the next video, we'll work on another project, and then we'll come back to building our map, our first map together. All right? Thanks so much, you guys. Ciao. Ciao. Ciao.